good. When it all happened, I was filming away. So, there was, I'm like the rock of the family, especially when it comes to, times where it's like family is really needed, and now I think I'm back.
I don't mean to be the super big brother dad, but this is nuts. I might record the whole ride. I might run out of storage. Oh, you need that. What'd you forget? And what do you need to drive?
Know that Kim, and it's in the this is in the documentation, shout out to paperwork. He looked in the paperwork and it said Kim received a massage for about an hour when she's supposed to have full-blown pneumonia. Who gives somebody a massage when they got pneumonia? And do we know whether she used that baby oil or not for that massage? It makes you say,
And Quincy's missing.
Quincy's missing. Ah. And lastly.
After he was questioned by the feds.
After.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was in witness protection.
You've been speaking about the white parties and how you wouldn't, because this is book that came out of his wife, Kim Porter. She released a book, allegedly, and she says how he had to do certain things to stay on a certain level.
I'm here with her, you know what I mean? And I'm not gonna leave.
I mean, I would hope not. You only got this shit started.
Kim Porter's story never felt finished. It felt paused. One day she was there, a constant presence behind some of the biggest moments in hip-hop culture. The next, she was gone, just like that. The explanation came quickly, the headlines moved on, and the industry went quiet. Too quiet. Because while the public was told this was a natural passing, the people closest to Kim never really stopped asking questions. And now, years later, something has finally shifted. The silence that protected this story may be breaking. And it's coming from the one person who stayed quiet the longest, Quincy Brown. For a long time, people didn't know what to make of Quincy. He was always there, but never loud. Always present, but never speaking out. When others chose sides publicly, Quincy chose restraint. And in a situation surrounded by chaos, accusations, and headlines, that calm behavior stood out in a way that made people uncomfortable. Because when someone refuses to react, it forces everyone else to wonder why. When Kim Porter passed, the official story was delivered fast and clean. Lobar pneumonia, natural causes, case closed. But for many watching from the outside, something didn't sit right. Kim was only 47 years old. She had no known history of substance issues, no underlying health conditions that would explain such a sudden decline. And within days, the conversation around her death disappeared from the mainstream. No deep investigation, no prolonged media attention, just quiet acceptance. That silence became even louder years later when major documentaries covering Diddy's controversies seemed to skip right over Kim entirely. For many fans, that omission felt intentional. Kim wasn't just an ex, she was deeply woven into Diddy's personal and professional life. So why avoid her story altogether? That unanswered question became the spark that reignited public curiosity, and eventually, suspicion. And while the internet debated theories, Quincy Brown did something unexpected. He stayed quiet. Unlike Diddy's biological sons, Quincy never rushed online to defend anyone. He didn't clap back at critics, he didn't make emotional posts or public statements. He didn't posture, he didn't perform, he simply observed. That alone separated him from everyone else connected to the situation, and the contrast only grew sharper over time. Christian and Justin Combs found themselves pulled into the chaos, even named in lawsuits tied to accusations surrounding their father. Quincy? Not once. No allegations, no accusations, no whispers. His record stayed clean. And in an environment where nearly everyone else was getting dragged into controversy, that distinction mattered more than people realized. Then came the moment that really had people talking. Quincy showed up at Diddy's trial. For just one day, that single appearance set the internet on fire. Some people immediately assumed loyalty, others called it quiet support. But when you look closer, Quincy didn't sit front and center. He didn't speak, he didn't stay, he didn't return, and more importantly, After that day, nothing about his behavior changed. No public defense, no condemnation, just silence. Strategic silence. Insiders later claimed that appearance wasn't about choosing sides at all. It was about protection, specifically protecting his sisters. According to those reports, Quincy feared that completely cutting ties too early could put them at risk. And if that's true, it reframes everything. Because instead of supporting Diddy, Quincy may have been buying time, watching, waiting, and keeping his family safe until the moment was right. That theory gained traction when Homeland Security raided Diddy's properties. The images spread instantly. Christian and Justin were on site and ended up in handcuffs. Cameras captured everything. But one thing stood out immediately. Quincy wasn't there. Neither were the twins. Their absence sent social media into overdrive. How were they missing at a moment this explosive? And why did it feel intentional? That's when Jaguar Wright added fuel to the fire, claiming Quincy was secretly working with federal authorities. Some even went as far as suggesting witness protection. Now, to be clear, that part feels like a stretch. Quincy was later seen publicly at the trial, which pokes holes in the more extreme theories. But what stuck wasn't the rumor itself. It was the idea that Quincy was moving differently on purpose. And through all of this, Kim Porter's name never stopped circulating in the background. Because once you actually look at the timeline of her final days, the official explanation starts to feel less solid. Kim reportedly complained of a sore throat around November 7th. Within days, she developed a fever. By November 12th, doctors treated her with antibiotics after flu, and strep tests came back negative. According to her family, by November 14th, she was feeling better. Her temperature returned to normal. She was stable enough to receive a massage that night. That detail alone has raised eyebrows for years. If Kim was suffering from serious pneumonia, why invite someone into the house for a massage? And why was the identity of that person never publicly clarified? The coroner's report later confirmed Kim had no substance use issues and no significant health history. By all accounts, she was considered healthy. And yet, just hours later, she was found unresponsive in her bed. Her death was officially ruled natural, but not everyone accepted that. One of the first people to publicly question the story was Kim's ex and Quincy's biological father, Al B. Sure, according to Al, he saw Kim not long before she passed, and she showed no signs of serious illness. He said she never mentioned being sick, and for years, that doubt ate at him, until he finally spoke out. In July 2020, Al posted a video of himself breaking down emotionally, filmed the morning he learned of Kim's passing. His caption stopped people cold. He said Kim didn't just suddenly pass from pneumonia, calling the explanation BS. He pointed out that they had just celebrated Quincy's major Netflix deal and Christmas special together, and Kim appeared happy, healthy, and full of life. He ended the post with the hashtag "Don't let the love songs fool you," which many interpreted as a direct jab at Diddy's public tributes. The post didn't last long. Al later deleted it, explaining that Quincy reached out and said the post was triggering. But while the post came down, Al's belief didn't change. He doubled down later, saying the official story still didn't make sense to him. That only intensified speculation that pressure was being applied behind the scenes, possibly even an attempt to drive a wedge between Quincy and his biological father. But Al didn't stop talking. In November 2021, he shared a throwback photo with Kim and Quincy, adding a caption that sent chills through the comments. He claimed Kim once told him, "Life imitating art, art imitating life. Now it all makes sense." He hinted that she confided much more privately and said she was running, telling him he urged her to contact federal authorities. In the comments, he added, "You would never believe what she went through." Then things took a dark turn. Just months later, Al was rushed to the hospital for a sudden medical emergency. No clear explanation, no warning. He collapsed while working in the studio. Doctors were reportedly shocked when multiple serious health issues appeared at once. Al spent nearly 2 months in a coma. When he woke up, he revealed he had undergone an organ transplant, blood transfusions, intubation, and time on a ventilator. He nearly didn't make it. Naturally, people started connecting dots. Online, fans pointed out that several people linked to Diddy's circle had passed away or fallen seriously ill from pneumonia-related conditions over the years. Heavy D, Brittany Murphy, Bobby Christina Brown. In Bobby Christina's case, the autopsy also listed lobar pneumonia, the same condition cited in Kim Porter's death. That detail alone sent speculation into overdrive. even after nearly losing his life, Al didn't back down. He continued posting cryptic messages, openly suggesting that none of this was random. And earlier this year, he took things even further. During a Fox 5 New York interview centered on his memoir, Al looked straight into the camera and asked, "Do you believe me now?" He claimed he was convinced someone tried to take him out in 2022 after he began speaking publicly about Kim. He stated clearly that he never believed pneumonia was the real cause of her passing. With those claims now on record through mainstream media, the conversation around Kim Porter became impossible to ignore. And that brings us back to Quincy. Reports are now circulating that Quincy is allegedly working with 50 Cent on a full-length documentary focused entirely on Kim's life and the unanswered questions surrounding her death. If true, that changes everything, because 50 Cent has a long history of exposing industry secrets, especially when it comes to powerful figures and buried truths. People are already saying that if this project sees the light of day, it could shake the culture in ways no one expects. What makes this moment different is timing. Quincy didn't rush this. He didn't act emotionally. He waited. He stayed close when he needed to. He stayed silent when it mattered. And now, with Diddy behind bars and the power dynamics shifting, Quincy may finally be ready to speak. Not loudly, but effectively. For years, many believed Kim lived under intense control during her relationship, long before other accusations ever surfaced. Patterns of behavior, reports from insiders, and past accounts have painted a picture of power that didn't stop at business. If even part of that is true, then Kim's story deserves more than a footnote. It deserves answers. Whether this documentary actually reopens the case remains to be seen. But one thing is clear: the silence that once protected this story is fading. And when truth sits buried long enough, it has a way of resurfacing, especially when the people closest to it decide they're no longer afraid. So now the question is yours. Do you believe Kim Porter's case should be reopened? Do you think Quincy's silence was strategy, not fear? And if this documentary drops, are we finally going to hear the parts of the story that were never meant to be told? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If this breakdown made you think differently about the situation, make sure to like, subscribe, and share, because conversations like this don't move forward unless people keep asking questions. I'll catch you in the next one.